if we are in side control position, my partner is laying down on his back facing the ceiling, his knees are up so that he can bridge and all that stuff. I get into really, you can get into this position from several different methods. So I can be here in this switch-based position that we've talked about. I can get it here from the scarf hold position. I can even really get here kind of from that knee ride, right? Usually if I'm doing gi, the reason why I'd be going kind of in this north-south position is because I've got that opportunity to go for like a spinning hammer choke or something like that. So in either case, the transition is going to be relatively the same. If I'm in the knee ride, I'm going to end up like sliding and trying to separate the arm from the body so I can attack it, but maybe I don't get that right. Maybe I go over it, or there's some other reason why I can't necessarily get it. If I'm in that switch-based position and scarf, it's really not that much different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outside leg, right? So it's the same place regardless of which position I'm in. I'm going to take it and I'm going to plant it right by his ear, right by his shoulder. Now, you don't necessarily have to do that, right? Especially if you just met. But if I'm going to, if I want to, I can come into that switch-based, or that north-south position, and I plant my hip next to their head on that near side. This is a little bit nicer, a little friendlier, depends on what you're into, but I get into this position here. The reason why I'm going to do that step over, so I can momentarily control him by pinching my knees together onto his head so that he can't really turn and he can't really sit up at the moment. Funny story, I'll get to it in a minute. So from here, I'm going to take my two hands, I'm going to come under his armpits, and I'm going to put them flat on his chest here. It's going to be like mid-sternum. It's not going to get super high here. And my elbows, I don't even know what I actually usually do with my elbows. I'm mostly focused on putting my pressure onto my palms and getting my forearms under those elbows. From here, I'm going to come up into this position. Notice how high my hips are, right? I don't want to be like super piked here. What I'm trying to do, and I can't do it with the dummy as much, is I actually want to kind of pressure him so that his shoulders come up off the mat, and this allows me to steer him and then starts to open me up to roll him onto his side and go for like a north-south Kimura or something along those lines. So, and there are head and arm chokes and all that from that position as well. So we definitely want to get into this position, and then we're here, and I'm pressuring in and forward, so I'm not like really trying to I'm not trying to put my weight down. I'm actually trying to drive forward as much as I'm pressuring down into that north-south position. So my pressure is kind of with my palms onto my opponent, pushing him down and forward to kind of get him into that sit-up position. It's going to glue his head and shoulders onto the mat here. He still has his hips. He can actually escape with the hips, but for right now, he can. You're killing half of his mobility. Remember, for any escape, you have to be able to move your hips or your shoulders or both. And for this particular instance, we're taking away that upper body. So I'm trying to push up and that way to kind of get him to curl up so I can glue his shoulders to the ground. So that is my pressure. My connection is with my two hands underneath his elbows, right? So that's going to stop him from being able to just roll out from underneath me, right? If he wants to bring him overhead to kind of do that, then I'll very gladly attack them, right? So I'm here, pressuring down and in, now rooting on the floor through my feet. Notice that I'm not here, right? My feet are not together. They're actually really wide because he's going to try to roll me this way because he can't pick me up that way, right? He can't take me over that way. He can't take me over this way. So he's going to try to roll me. I need that stability. If I'm narrow, it's not going to happen. All right? So I've got the scarf hold, I've got the switch base. Either one, it doesn't matter. If I came down from the knee ride, I've planted here, it's the same movement. I'm going to take my knee, I'm going to put it over by his ear. As I do so, I hook that underside arm, I pinch my knees together here so that I've got control of his head. Once I've got this position established, my pressure is going to come down onto his chest. I'm going to sprawl out and I'm going to push into him. Notice that my hips are low so I can drive into him more, but it's also more stable. Much easier to knock over if my hips are high from any position. Never have your hips higher than your shoulders if you can help it. That excludes like Gambia rules for obvious reason. So I get into this position and I'm sprawling into him and I'm maintaining that pressure. Now from here, if I want to start to attack him and I want to get him into similar to a side mount position, right? What I need to do is I've got my arms for kind of steering, I'm going to drop my hips, right? So I'm not like really kind of, trying to push him over by kind of like walking around, just like I'm doing a guard pass. I'm going to drop my hips to get here, and then I'm going to take my knee, I'm going to create a little block here. Sometimes when people do it, you'll see that this knee comes up, and it'll go up by that near side shoulder. That's perfectly fine. That's actually going to be a little bit better. Depends. It depends on what you can get, right? This is just fine as well. And a lot of times I'll take this leg, and if I can, I'll scoop under that bottom side arm so it's separated and up here flapping. And usually I've got this arm here to play with, right? Now, I might go for that Kimura. Maybe I'm not able to break that grip. So I can slide my hand through, hook the head, come down. There's a nice little head and arm choke here as well. There are arm bars there as well, right? So if I got underneath that arm and maybe that Kimura is not happening, I might have a better chance breaking that grip by just choking that hip penetration, throwing this leg over his head, and now I can start to use this leg kind of separate that grip and start going for that arm. So that is your introduction to a north-south position. At this point, I kind of recommend going through all your positions and just kind of lacing them all together. So if you get to the north-south position, right, I might be here, maybe I'm coming up with trouble, and I'm going to have to drop down into switch base, right? From switch base, I come into this side control position. Maybe I flip my arm over the top so his head is pinched, and now I'm into this cross-body position. Maybe I went from this position, maybe he was trying to pick me up and roll me too much. Maybe I'm a little bit heavy here, so I need to drop my weight. So I extend that leg down so I can get that hip. Maybe he's trying to get that arm or that leg between me and his hip. I bring that arm to the same side. Maybe I want to go into that knee wrap position, right? So I grab his hip and I slide up and post, right? Maybe from this position I need to go into that back to that switch base maybe. So I get this little pinch, I post my leg out, and then I drop my hips onto his thighs, and I get in that switch base position or that scarf hold position, right? Maybe I go into that reverse switch base position and then I transition into mount, whatever way I'm going to do that, right? Maybe mount's becoming hard, so I'm going to have to pull that leg out and come back into the knee right position. Maybe I came up to the knee right position, right? Maybe I have to arch up, come up into that mid-range mount. Maybe I need to slide up into that S mount. So go ahead and go through all of those several times and worry about your transitions and where's your pressure, where's your connection, how are you reading through the floor through every single one of those positions, and try to see if you can reverse it as much as you possibly can and to practice going back to those positions. Because again, the way that you're going to lose this top control is not because you couldn't get the attack, right? It's because you were not able to transition cleanly. You're very rarely going to be lose the position through trying to just maintain the single position. It's usually because you're moving on to something else, maybe because you have to, that you're going to lose that transition. So, and maybe even get attacked. So really kind of focus on trying to clean that up as much as you possibly can. All right, let's come back in a second. We'll do top 4 quarter.